Hello, my name is MD Asfaq Hussain. I have completed my graduation from IQ City Medical College and Hospital, Durgapur, and currently I reside in Durgapur, West Bengal. I have been teaching and mentoring students for last 3 years for their boards as well as their NEET preparation. I have also worked with BYJU'S as an academic specialist and also worked with Physics Wala as a subject matter expert. So in today's demo session, I will be discussing the human heart topic. So human heart is responsible for pumping the blood throughout the body. And why it is necessary to pumping the blood throughout the body? Actually, our blood carries oxygen and nutrients to all over the cells present in our body, and it also eliminates the waste product carbon dioxide produced during the metabolism of the cells. So it plays a crucial role, and the heart is responsible for the pumping of this blood. So our heart is made up of cardiac muscle. It is one of a kind of a muscle that there is three types of muscles: skeletal muscle, smooth muscles, and the cardiac muscle. The cardiac muscle is responsible for the formation of heart. So along with this, if I discuss about the size of our heart, so it sizes nearly the size of our fist. If we look at this fist like this, so this will be nearly the size of our heart. Okay, so let us discuss. As you can see in the picture, this is the fist. And if you talk about the cardiac muscle, so being an student of biology, you should know about these details, about the basic characteristics of these cardiac muscles. So cardiac muscles, as you can see, that there is some striations, black dot. These are the actin and myosin filament. This is very important. So these are striated. Acha, now a question may be arise in your mind that, sir, skeletal muscle also has striations. Yes, you are right. Skeletal muscle also has striations because there also the actin and myosin filament is present. Actin and myosin, because these are the protein that are responsible for the contraction and relaxation of muscle. Secondly, you can see that cardiac muscles are branched. Yes, they are branched, no? They are branched. So this is second most important point about it, branched. If we discuss about one more thing, that cardiac muscles also has some intercalated disc like this. They are connected with each other through a intercalated disc. Actually, these discs are responsible for the faster transmission of nerve impulses or electrical impulses. Third most important point, if we contradicted with the cardiac muscles, that cardiac muscles with skeletal muscles we can voluntarily control skeletal muscles. Relax, contract, relax, contract. So we can voluntarily control our skeletal muscle, but we can't control cardiac muscles. We can't control our heart कि बेटा थोड़ा रुक जा. We can't. जितना भी बोलूँ मैं थोड़ा रुक जा, it will never stop. It will never follow my command. Okay, so that's why it is involuntary in nature. Very important, involuntary in nature, whereas skeletal muscles are voluntary. This is a contradiction with the skeletal muscle and between the cardiac muscle. Fourth point, if I discuss about the, if you recall that skeletal muscles has multinucleated cells, and we call this condition as syncytium. But in case of cardiac muscles, they are singly nucleated. They don't have multinucleus. They only have single nucleus. Okay, so these are the few basic features about cardiac muscles you need to remember. So moving forward, anatomy. Acha, let us discuss that where this heart is located. So everyone will say the heart is located somewhere in the middle of the chest, but being a biology student, we have to know the position of our heart little bit more precise. So if we discuss about the position of heart, then the heart is definitely positioned between the two lungs, but slightly tilted to the left, because the apex, the upper portion of the heart is slightly tilted to the left, and the base of the heart is located in the diaphragm region. So I will show it over you. The heart is located in the middle of the chest between the lungs, slightly tilted to the breastbone sternum, and it rests on the diaphragm, the most important muscles present in our body, responsible for breathing. Especially this muscle is known as the diaphragm. So the heart lies upon this diaphragm. Okay, the heart keeps its weight upon this diaphragm. So as you can see in this picture very clearly that this particular muscle is known as the diaphragm. Okay, and this is our right lung, this is our left lung, and between these two, in the middle, slightly tilted to the left, the heart is located. Okay, acha, if I ask, what is heart covered in the anterior portion? Anteriorly, heart is covered by sternum. Okay, the rib cages of sternum. What is in the posterior portion of heart? There is a mediastinum place, mediastinum location, and below there is diaphragm, and two sides there is two lungs. So this is the basic position of our heart. Okay, very good. So let's move ahead. Acha, so much important organ. From the beginning of our life, it works till death, never ceasing organ, which never stops working. So this organ, very important organ, should be protected from any mechanical stress, from any damage, so that the heart is covered by a protected layer called is pericardium. Okay, this protected layer is covering the heart is known as the pericardium. And very important point, you have to remember that pericardium is a double membranous layer. Double membranous layer means pericardium has two layers. Pericardium, between there is a gap or a space. Okay, this gap is also known as the, I will discuss it later. Okay, so look, the heart is covered by double membranous protective layer known as pericardium. After this, if I discuss about this, look at this very carefully, that this is the outer side is fibrous pericardium, the inner side is visceral pericardium. And exactly this visceral pericardium is actually the muscle of heart, the cardiac muscle, that is known as the epicardium. Epicardium and the visceral pericardium are the same thing. And between this visceral pericardium and the fibrous pericardium, there is a parietal pericardium, and this is layer 1, this is layer 2. As I have said you, this double membranous layer, and between these two there is a pericardial cavity, and this pericardial cavity contains some pericardial fluid. Those fluids are responsible for resisting the mechanical stress and protects the heart from any damage or stress. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. This is the serous part, this is the fibrous part. And if I discuss about the walls of heart, then cardiac muscles have some walls, like the most inner wall is known as the endocardium. Middle part is the thickest part. The most thickest part is the myocardium, the middle part, and the external part is the epicardium, that is also known as the visceral pericardium. Okay, so these are the heart wall, these are the pericardium wall structure. So I hope it is clear to you that what is heart covered by. After that, if we discuss about the chambers of heart, then we are the most developed animal in the earth. So we have 4 different chambers in our heart. So upper 2 is right atrium and left atrium, and lower 2 is right ventricle and left ventricle. Very important, you have to recall these. Upper 2 is the right atrium connected with right ventricle, and here it is upper left atrium, and lower is the left ventricle. So these 4 chambers are responsible for the various activity in our heart. So human heart consists of 4 chambers, as I said, upper right atrium, left atrium, lower right ventricle and left ventricle. It is clear to you. Acha, what is the significance of these chambers? Why there should be integrated chambers? Why should be there so much protected, wall protected, valve protected chambers required in our heart? There should be a hollow organ, na? Why there is so much chamber? Because as you can see, we will find these answers later on. But because before this, you just look over here that blue color signifies the oxygen poor blood, whereas the lesser amount of oxygen, that deoxygenated blood, and the red color signifies oxygen rich blood or oxygenated blood. That means the blood that has come from the lungs after oxygenation. So if we mix the two, in case of lower animals, that happens. There does not have any separation between the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. But we are the most developed animals, na? We have to organize those things, separate those things very intricately, very carefully. So in order to prevent any malfunction, there is proper separation of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood, and to separate them, those chambers are required. We also find the significance of those chambers later on. So moving ahead, what are the vessels in our heart? I will just introduce the vessels over here, but what are the functions of those vessels? I will describe it in the next slide. Just understand this, there is a superior vena cava. There is superior vena cava. I'm just telling you little function of the superior vena cava. It is responsible for bringing the deoxygenated blood from the upper part of the body. This is the abdominal chest. This is the abdominal chest from the diaphragm. This is the upper part. The chest and the brain. The brain, the neck, the upper trunk of our body. So from this, all the deoxygenated blood will bring to the right atrium of heart through the superior vena cava. And from all the lower proximities, from the abdomen, from the legs, from all the fingers and the proximities, all the lower parts deoxygenated blood will be carried into the heart through the inferior vena cava. Where it will go? It will go to the right atrium. It will fill right atrium. It will fill right atrium. All those deoxygenated blood, because those blood has already been utilized. The blood's oxygen has been already utilized by cells. And you can see there is some pulmonary artery. When this right ventricle, what happens, pushes the blood out, then it follows the pathway of pulmonary artery and goes back to the lungs, And here you can see that is pulmonary vein. That is responsible for bringing the oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. Where it will fill? It will fill the left atrium, and further it will go down to the left ventricle as well. And after filling out the left ventricle, it pushes back to the body through the aorta. This is the aortic branch. This is a complete complex branch, aortic branch. Through this branch, the aorta is the largest artery definitely in our body, and this is the branch through which the blood delivers all over the body. Okay, so before understanding this, let us just understand quickly that what are the veins and what are the arteries. So just look over here, that artery are the red, that means they are mainly responsible for carrying oxygenated blood, and veins are mainly responsible for carrying deoxygenated blood. Okay. Then vessels. So as I have said you that these are the vessels, you have already understood about this. So this is the most important point. Understand this. I will explain the role over here. So we saw double circulation. What you saw? Double circulation. Very interesting point. Double circulation, a important subtopic of this chapter. But in this lecture, it will not be possible to covering all these things. But what exactly double circulation? Just understand this. One is the pulmonary circulation. Second is the systemic circulation. Just understand one thing. Pulmonary term refers to the lungs. Systemic terms refers to the body. Pulmonary means what our lungs actually do. Our lungs connected with the external environment through these nostrils, yes or no? So our lungs, what happens in our lungs? Our lungs oxygenates the blood. And eliminates out the deoxygenated part, like carbon dioxide. It will eliminate out from our body, and it will oxygenate. It will oxygenate all the blood which comes into the lungs. So look at this very carefully. As I have said, this is the right atrium. Okay, right atrium. So in case of head and arms, the upper proximity of our body, there is a deoxygenated blood. This signifies the deoxygenated blood, blue color. Deoxygenated blood comes to the right atrium. Okay, then right atrium takes this, and this pushes back to the right lung. As you can see here, lungs, what does it do? Lungs oxygenates all the blood over here, and here oxygenation done. Then this oxygenated blood again pushed back to the left atrium of the heart. Okay, so this lungs wala part is the pulmonary circulation, and this body wala part is the systemic circulation. Again, look at this. In case of lower proximity, what happens? In case of legs, in case of internal organs, all those deoxygenated blood after utilizing goes back to the inferior vena cava, to the right atrium, to the left atrium, to the left ventricle, and then the ventricle pushes it back to the left lung, where it gets again oxygenated. And when it becomes oxygenated blood, this oxygen rich blood goes back to the left atrium again, and it again pushed back to the left ventricle, and left ventricle pushed deep outside through this trunk and it again goes back to the body, so that the cells of the internal organs, the legs, everywhere gets the nutrients, gets the oxygen, and carry on their daily activities. So this is the key role. I hope it is a very interesting diagram and it will explain a lot. I hope you understand this very clearly. If you're not, then definitely get back to me. I will definitely help you to understand this topic. Okay, so valves. Valves play a very important role. What does valves do? Valves actually responsible for preventing the backflow. Assume that I have sent this oxygenated blood and here is the deoxygenated part. I have sent this. Again this goes back. So the whole systemic mechanism, the machinery will disrupt. So to prevent this disruption, to prevent the backflow of blood, these valves play a crucial role. So look at these valves very carefully, that this valve between the right atrium and the right ventricle, this valve is known as the tricuspid valve. And why it is tricuspid? Because it has 1, 2 and 3 cusps. And if I discuss about the mitral valve, it has 1, 2 cusps. That's why it is also known as the bicuspid valve. Okay, bicuspid valve. This is the bicuspid valve. It's present between the left atrium and left ventricle. Again, this left ventricular blood should be goes out to the aorta. So there is again a valve, and there is again a valve in case of artery, in case of pulmonary vein. So these are known as the aortic valve because these prevent the aorta, and this is the pulmonary vein because it prevents the pulmonary system. So this is the pulmonary valve. Okay, these valves also known as the semilunar valves. Semilunar valves because they look like half moon. That's why they are known as the semilunar valves. Okay, so arterial septum, the septum that bifurcates the right atrium and left atrium is on the arterial septum, and this septum which divides the left ventricle and right ventricle known as the ventricular septum. And if we discuss about this, so these are the arterioventricular system. These are the arterioventricular system. So septum are covered, valves are covered, basic introduction of heart is going on. The bicuspid valve, also known as the mitral valve, consists of only 2 cusps. That's why it is known as the bicuspid, located between the left atrium and left ventricle. Very important thing, left atrium and left ventricle. So recalling mnemonic is LAB. LAB means left atrium bicuspid. Simple. It will also it disturb students that they will confuse among the right atrium bicuspid or right atrium tricuspid or left atrium bicuspid. The students even confused among these. So that's why this is a very important mnemonic that student can recall this by LAB RAT, because tricuspid valve, right atrium tricuspid, RAT. LAB means left atrium bicuspid, RAT means right atrium tricuspid. So the valves are responsible for preventing backward flow of blood, as I have discussed earlier. So as I have said, this bicuspid means 1 and 2 cusp, normal tricuspid means 1, 2, 3 cusps. It's clear to you? Okay, properties and functions. So heart is myogenic in nature. What does this mean by myogenic in nature? Myogenic means heart can control its mechanism, heart can stimulate itself by its own. इसको बाहर से कोई स्टिमुलस का जरूरत नहीं पड़ता है. That's why we also know we call this myogenic. Refers to muscles or tissues that can contract on their own. क्योंकि हार्ट का मसल्स खुद से ही खुद को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड रिलैक्स कर सकता है. इसके लिए ब्रेन का कोई सिग्नल का जरूरत या हम लोग का कोई इंटेंशन का जरूरत नहीं आता है, विदाउट एन एक्सटर्नल इलेक्ट्रिकल स्टिमुलस. ओके, that's why heart shows autorhythmicity. Same thing, autorhythmicity. हार्ट जो अपना रिदम है ना, वो रिदम का खुद से ही अपना रिदम को मेंटेन कर सकता है. तो दैट्स व्हाई वी आल्सो नोन इज कॉल इज द ऑटोरिथमिसिटी. Okay, is the ability of cardiac cells to generate action potentials that cause the heart to contract. Okay, very good. So physiology of heart, look, there is 2 main phases of heart. One is systole, one is diastole. Systole means in layman term, systole means, wait, just give me a moment. What does in layman term systole means? Systole basically means contraction, and diastole simply layman terms means relaxation. Contraction and relaxation. So systolic phase means the pumping phase, heart is pumping the blood out, and diastolic phase heart is relaxed, heart is relaxed. कम जो भी जितना भी ब्लड आना है आ जाओ आई एम रेडी टू कैप्चर ऑल ऑफ यू, आ जाओ। यहाँ हार्ट आपको रिलैक्स करके, खुद को रिलैक्स करके पूरा ब्लड यहाँ अपना अंदर ले रहा है, तो इस पोजीशन को हम लोग कहते हैं डायस्टोल। बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू सिस्टोल, सिस्टोल इज द पंपिंग फेज। और भी क्लियर हो जाएगा। तो ये है आपका रिलैक्स स्टेट, जहाँ क्या हो रहा है, ब्लड हार्ट के अंदर आया, ठीक है, यहाँ फीलिंग हो रहा है हार्ट का। तो ये हो रहा है आपका क्या वाला फेज, डायस्टोलिक फेज। एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्शन मीन्स क्या, हार्ट कंट्रैक्ट कर दिया हार्ट का मसल्स। तो अगर यहाँ इतना फील्ड पार्ट जब इस तरीके से कंट्रैक्ट कर जाएगा तो क्या होगा, हार्ट का जो ब्लड है वो बाहर निकल जाएगा ना, कंट्रैक्ट कर दिया तो बाहर निकल गया, बहुत जोर से बाहर निकलेगा प्रेशर से। तो प्रेशर क्रिएट करने का ही तो काम है हार्ट का। तो कॉन्ट्रैक्शन का काम करता है मीन्स द सिस्टोल फेज। टोटली इट टेक्स अबाउट 0.8 सेकेंड लेता है टाइम। अमंग दिस 0.4 सेकेंड इज आपका ज्वाइंट डायस्टोल। इतना डिटेल में ये लेक्चर में कवर करना पॉसिबल नहीं है। एंड 0.1 सेकेंड होता है आपका, 0.3 सेकेंड होता है आपका, ये आपका होता है सिस्टोल, ये आपका होता है डायस्टोल, ठीक है। सो प्रॉपर्टीज एंड फंक्शंस अगर देखेंगे हम लोग तो देखिए, जब डायस्टोल में आ रहा है, डायस्टोल फेज में हार्ट है, तब क्या हो रहा है, ब्लड अब हार्ट के अंदर आ रहा है। पहले आपका राइट आर्ट्रियम फीलिंग हो रहा है, राइट आर्ट्रिया जब फील हो गया तब वो आता है आपका यहाँ फील हो रहा है। लगभग 70, जब डायस्टोल फेज में रहता है ना, तो लगभग 70% आपका फीलिंग हो जाता है आपका राइट आर्ट्रियम, राइट वेंट्रिकल का। उसके बाद जब थोड़ा इसका यहाँ का जो मसल्स है, यहाँ क्या रहता है, साइनोआर्ट्रियल नोड जब आपका इम्पल्स जनरेट करेगा, थोड़ा कंट्रैक्ट करेगा आपका ऊपर वाला आर्ट्रियम, राइट आर्ट्रियम, देन क्या होगा, यहाँ का रेस्ट जो ब्लड है, रेस्ट ब्लड वो आ जाएगा, देन यहाँ आपका 100% फीलिंग हो जाएगा, ठीक है। तो यहाँ फीलिंग हो गया। अभी क्या हो रहा है, ये फीलिंग हो रहा है, और यहाँ से क्या आ रहा है, आपका ऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड आ रहा है। ऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड आके इसको फील कर रहा है, ऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड फील कर रहा है। दैट मीन्स क्यों, यहाँ एक नेगेटिव प्रेशर है ना, बाहर पॉजिटिव प्रेशर है इन्वायरमेंट में, यहाँ नेगेटिव प्रेशर है, तो यहाँ फील हो रहा है। अभी देखिए इस तरीके के कितने तरीके से, कितना एलाबोरेटेड है, डिस्टेंडेड है, तो फील हुआ। फीलिंग जब हो गया, डायस्टोल वाला फेज हो गया, तब क्या, एसे नोड क्या करता है आपका, एसे नोड इम्पल्स जनरेट किया। इम्पल्स कहाँ, एभी नोड में गया, एभी नोड से आपका बंडल ऑफ हीज में गया, बंडल ऑफ हीज से कहाँ जाएगा, पर्किंजी फाइबर्स में जाएगा। पर्किंजी फाइबर्स में जो गया वेंट्रिकल्स का जो फाइबर्स है, तब क्या होगा, अल्टीमेटली वेंट्रिकल्स इस तरीके से दोनों वेंट्रिकल जोर से कंट्रैक्ट कर जाएगा। जब एक कंट्रैक्ट करता है तब हम ही इसी पोजीशन को कहते हैं सिस्टोलिक फेज और पंपिंग फेज। तब पूरा सारा जो ब्लड था, यहाँ का जो ऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड था वो एओर्टा के थ्रू पूरा बॉडी में चला जाएगा, यहाँ का जो डीऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड था वो इसके थ्रू पूरा बाहर चला जाएगा, ठीक है। सो कहाँ जाएगा, पाल्मोनरी आर्टरी जो है, पाल्मोनरी आर्टरी देखिए कौन सा वाला है, पाल्मोनरी आर्टरी हम लोग का पाल्मोनरी आर्टरी कौन सा वाला है, ये वाला है पाल्मोनरी आर्टरी जो डीऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड कैरी करता है। पाल्मोनरी आर्टरी क्या कर, डीऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड लिया, फिर डीऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड लेके कहाँ, बॉडी में देगा। डीऑक्सीनेटेड ब्लड वी कांट डिलीवर इट टू द सेल्स ना, इट हैज नो ऑक्सीजन, नो न्यूट्रिशन, सो हाउ शुड आई गिव टू द सेल्स, we have to give it to the lungs so that they can oxygenate them. So lungs take this deoxygenated blood and oxygenate them, and aorta, from the aorta all the oxygenated blood comes, all the oxygenated blood through the aorta goes to all over the body and helps us to carry on our day to day activities. Thank you. Thank you so much.